You have people in the film, for example, the former captain of the tie-down team, who would strap you to the gurney after 125 executions, quits it, cannot continue. In the way he speaks and argues, I mean, you cannot find a more powerful voice against it. It's just unthinkable for me. He's a man who had the experience, an experience of 125 men and one woman he would be the last one to look into their eyes. Mm-hmm. He sees the eyes on him. And just that all of a sudden gives him an insight and gives him a breakdown, mm-hmm. which he still cannot explain completely. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty about it. He doesn't need to explain. He has an experience that is unique. Mm-hmm. And you better listen to him, what he has to say.
Well, we need to, in general. I mean, I think
he's Texan. Yeah. He's Texan. He has been an advocate of capital punishment. He assisted in executions. So it's just really, really good to listen to him.
It's the last time you're going to see, I'm going to see him with his eyes open. Because after the execution's done and the process went, and then they called the doctor in to pronounce him dead, and everybody leaves, my job begins again because I have to go back in there. And that's also kind of difficult because here you sit with this individual 8 to 10 hours all day long. And now the last thing you're doing is removing those straps. The straps have to be removed and put them on another gurney for the funeral home. And then you didn't think about none of this while you're doing this, the procedure. None of this. You don't put those emotions out there. You do the job. You go home.
You did how many executions, roughly?
It was over 125. 120, somewhere over 120. It was a bunch. We got to the point where, especially after I think I promoted to captain in 90, we were doing 2 a week. And that was getting tiresome.
And what happened to you then?
Back when they brought in Caller Faye, I stayed back there with her. Now, definitely that was the first female that we were fixing to execute. I remember one thing so vividly, that it was an hour before, and I was standing there, and the chaplain was standing there, and she looked at me and she goes, "Thank you, Captain Allen, for everything you've done." I said, "You're welcome." That's all I could say. And what else am I going to say? I'm fixing to strap you down another hour. Which we went, procedure and everything went just the way it was supposed to, She was pronounced dead. I went back in there and I took the straps off, put her, on the gurney, and let's go. We locked everything up and went about our business, and everything was fine. I had a little shop in the back, and it was 6 o'clock, and the news come on over the radio and it started again. And for some reason, just out of the blue, hearing it triggered me seeing her, and I started shaking. Oh, what's wrong? And then
how badly did you shake?
It was a shake. It was a shake like I couldn't. Why am I shaking? And then I could see I was sweating, and tears. All of a sudden, and this is hurting. I remembered her. This is 2 days afterwards. I remembered her execution. Hers wasn't no different than anybody else, but it was hers. And then I started actually visualizing the other inmates. As you asked me, did you look in their eyes? I could see them. I could actually see them in the holding cell again. you know, one right after another. And it seemed like it was just, my wife goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I don't know. I need to talk to somebody. And the first person I could think of to call was Carol, Chaplain Picking. He come over to the house and we sat out on the swing, and I started coming down, and he says, "What's wrong?" And I told him. And then I looked at Carol and I said, "I can't do it no more. That's it. I'm done. I can't go back there anymore."
Could it be that you thought that this was not yourself, but maybe it was your real self, that moment?
That's a good possibility.
What's really deep inside of
Yes.
you came out.
That's very, from that point on, I've had a different outlook in life. If executions was the law, then I was going to make sure that it was done professionally with integrity. After Carla, and I was a pro capital punishment. After Carla Faye, and after all this, until this day, 11 years later, no, sir. Nobody has a right to take another life. I don't care if it's the law. And it's so easy to change the law. I just make sure, and somebody told me about the live your dash. And that's really, after all this that I went through and quit and everything, I've heard the story of telling me, live your dash. How are you going to live your dash? And I didn't understand, what are you talking about, dash? And he said, it's on your tombstone. You got your birth date, and you got the day that you deceased, and you got that little dash in the middle. That's your life right there. That's everything between, from the time you was born, from the time you die. How are you going to live your dash? And that's where I'm at now. I'm going to live my dash and make sure that everything, try to make everything right for the family, everybody. Hold still and watch the birds. And you once you get up into your life like that, and once you feel good about your life, you do start watching what the birds do. You know, what the ducks are doing, like the hummingbirds. Wow, there's so many of them.